Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the All Things Dog podcast with FlatTop K9. I am your host, Tim Russell, owner and operator of FlatTop K9. If you're tuning in, I appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends, your family, your enemies. Let me tell you what we're going to be doing in these podcasts, and I've mentioned it in the first episode, but just kind of recap. We're going to be talking about a lot of self-experiences that I've had with dogs that I've trained, dogs that I've evaluated, dogs that were potential clients. I got a lot of questions, a ton of questions. So we'll be doing a lot of Q&A. And we'll be uploading videos every Saturday. So look forward to that. The platforms that you'll be able to find me is on, Apple, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon, Audible. I feel like I'm leaving something out, but those are the heavy hitters. And of course on YouTube, you can see the video on YouTube. I'm going to go over some things at the end that's really, really important. So stick around for that. But today I want to talk about resource guarding. Resource guarding is something that the dog does that when they possess something, okay? It can be kind of on the lighter side, but it can be very dangerous as well. I think that a lot of reasons, a big reason why dogs are in shelters is because of resource guarding. And among other things, but I think that's also another big reason. A lot of people associate resource guarding with a dog hovering over a bowl of food or a toy, but a dog will actually resource guard whatever they deem valuable. It could be the food, it could be the toy, it could be the chair, the couch, the bed, the house, the human. Whatever they decide that they're going to possess, they're going to do it. But the big ones that people associate with resource guarding is food and a toy. And there's many different ways of handling this. And this podcast is just how I do things. And if you disagree with it, that's fine. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's just you may go a different route. But if we can get to the same end goal, get the same result, and still treat the dog properly, then there shouldn't be a problem. I am what they consider the balanced trainer, and I believe that there needs to be the balance between positive reinforcement and corrections in order for the dog to truly learn. If a dog is doing something that is totally unacceptable and all you do is just throw treats at the dog, how does the dog know that that behavior is unacceptable? They don't. So not a lot of trainers, let me take it back, purely positive trainers, they will approach resource guarding, they will approach resource guarding with higher value rewards. So if they got the Kong over here and the dog is possessing a Kong or food, whatever it is, they will take a higher value reward. So if they got kibble, this trainer may have chicken over here across the room. The dog is guarding. They call the dog. The dog leaves the food over there and comes over and gets the chicken. Now, their philosophy is, I'm teaching the dog to make a better decision by leaving the food and coming over to me? Well, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, if a dog is eating, and if you're not bothering the dog, or if you're not close to the dog, most of the time you're okay. Now, there are some exceptions. There's been dogs where if you even walked by the room that they were eating in, they will leave the bowl and come and get you. But for the most part, if you put the food down and leave the dog alone, you're not going to have any issues. So, again, the purely positive, or also known as force-free, they will lure the dog away with a higher value reward. So let's paint a picture here. Let's say that the dog is truly guarding, hackles are up, maybe growling, and the dog knows that you got chicken. The dog leaves that bowl and comes over and eats chicken. Now, really, what just happened? The dog just got rewarded for growling, the state of mind that they were in, and I'm never going to accept anything else. That, to me, that's what they're doing. In that moment, did they teach the dog that the behavior over the bowl or the toy or whatever it is unacceptable? No, they didn't. So how would that dog ever know that that is unacceptable behavior? They're just going to know in their mind that when I do this, a higher value reward is going to come from somewhere. It makes no sense to me at all. I want the dog to understand that food, that toy belongs to me. I'm just sharing it with you. And any behavior outside of you eating or playing with it, as far as like guarding it, is unacceptable. So I will correct the dog for resource guarding. I've talked to trainers that won't do it. I will. If you come home from work and your children have taken Sharpie and wrote all over your walls, and all you do is walk up to them and take the Sharpie away and put them in the drawer, there's no discipline. You don't say anything to them. All you do is take the Sharpies away and put them in the drawer. Did you teach them that they're not allowed to write on the wall? No, you didn't. The kids are probably glad. They're like, hey, man, we didn't get in trouble. So they may try it again tomorrow. So there has to be the consequence. And that's part of how they learn. So once the dog, the way I do it, I'll correct the dog. And then I move forward with some other things. The difference would be is if I have a dog in for training that resource guards, I'm not even going to work on that right away. If it's food, I'll put the food in the dog's kennel and they eat. I'm not interrupting them at all. And I start building the relationship with the dog. And then I will just put structure, boundaries, all of that in every other aspect of the dog's life. And then I may get to it in a week or two or whatever it is. Then we may or may not even have to work on it. Because when you put the structure and the boundaries and you get the dog to start looking at you differently, a lot of times things go away. I've had resource guarding just go away. Jumping. A lot of bad behaviors, unwanted behaviors go away. Not all the time, but a lot of times they do. So just a kind of little setup there as far as like what resource guarding is. And so what I want to do is I want to tell you a story of a dog that I received a call about. And the husband contacted me, and he said that their German Shepherd, which was, I think, at least 2 years old, attacked his wife. And he didn't understand because he travels a lot. He could be on the road 2-3 days a week. The wife takes care of the dog. I mean, everything. So he didn't understand why the dog would attack her. So just listening to him talk, I had a really good idea of what was going on. So the wife wanted to put the dog down, and he said, "Let me see if I can find a trainer." And he reached out to a few trainers that he really wasn't happy with as far as just what they sounded like over the phone. Then he got a hold of me. He had taken the dog to a boarding facility for a couple days to get the dog out of the house. The wife had really bad bites on her bicep, on her forearm, permanent scars. And it was either find somebody that could help or we're going to euthanize the dog. So he called me and he said, "I'm on my way right now to go get the dog. I talked my wife into let me bring the dog back. I'll keep them separated, blah, blah, blah." So I said, "Where are you at?" And he told me. And so I drove there and I met him at the kennel. And as soon as they brought the dog out, it really, I could tell that I was right on what I was thinking. I told him over the phone that I thought his dog was resource guarding him, and I explained all that to him, and he disagreed with me. And then, but when I saw his reaction when he saw the dog and the dog's reaction, I knew that that's what the dog was doing. So he said, "Can you come to the house?" I said, "Yeah, I'll be at the house tomorrow." So every time I go and I evaluate a dog, I always have the owners meet me outside most of the time. And that's going to be another episode. But there was one time when I didn't, and it got me. But I always have them meet me outside. So really, really wealthy area in Franklin, Tennessee. So they come out, and husband and wife, and they had the dog, and they had a prong collar on the dog. And the prong collar was just pretty much dangling on the dog's neck. It wasn't even doing anything. And so we just stood there and talked for a little bit, just kind of get the dog used to me being in his presence. And then I said, "I want to see you walk your dog." When the wife takes off with the dog is everywhere. Okay, there's no leadership at all. If the dog smells an odor on a mailbox, he would pull, she would follow, let the dog do whatever it wanted. So I'm following behind them, and we walked to the next block to the stop sign. I said, "Now let's have a talk." And I told them, I said, "There is absolutely no leadership whatsoever with this dog. The dog is driving the ship. He's making all the decisions, and you're just along for the ride." Well, then all the excuses come. "Oh, he wants to go to the bathroom." And I don't care what he wants to do. I'm going to tell him when he gets to go to the bathroom. So we walked back down to the house, and I said, "Will he let me walk him?" And they said, "Yeah, sure." So I took a couple links out of the collar, and the dog goes to take off, and I just stop, and the dog self-corrects at the end of the leash. And then I start walking again. The dog does it again, self-corrects at the end of the leash. Now the dog's starting to look at me. Now we start our walk. The dog's checking in with me, and I am calmly telling the dog, good job, good boy, whatever. And we walk all the way to the stop sign and we stop. And now the dog is right beside me. He's not drifting off. He's not, going anywhere else. He's staying right beside me. As I start to walk back to the owners, because I had them stay at the driveway, I take the leash and I drape the leash over my finger and I walk all the way back to the house, and the dog's in a beautiful heel right beside me. When I get back down to the house, the owners are just looking at me. And the wife says, "You didn't even really do anything. So how did you get him to do that?" And I said, "Dogs recognize leadership. And you're not giving that to him." It was very little effort to get the dog to comply to what I needed him to do. And he was actually happy. So after that, we went into the house. And we talked a little bit, and I said, "I would like to talk to your wife alone," because I wanted to talk to her about the night she got bit. So he took the dog and he went out on the patio, and her and I are sitting at the table. And I said, "I've got one side of the story of what happened that night, but I need to get your side of the story because there's some things that's not adding up with me." And she says, "Every night my husband goes to bed first." And now let me say this. This is a huge multi-million-dollar home. The bedroom is gigantic, okay? It's really, really big. And that's going to come into play here in just a little bit. So she says the dog will go in and lay in the chair by the bed. And I come into the room and I throw food across the room so the dog can go get it. And that's when I get in bed. I was like, hold on a second. Your husband mentioned to me that he didn't understand why the dog attacked you because you had come into the room 3 other times and threw a treat to the dog. And I started thinking, why would you need to do that? Because it didn't make sense to me. And I said, and your husband also told me that this was a one-time situation that you've had to do this. She said, no, that's not true. He wouldn't know because he's not here. And a lot of times I don't tell him, but this has been going on for 6 months. I said, 6 months? Their laundry room is about the size of my bedroom. Okay. And she says, I have to go in to my laundry room, change into my pajamas, walk to the doorway of the bedroom, throw the food all the way across, and hopefully I get in bed before the dog comes back. Well, that night she didn't. Now she's crying. She's showing me her scars and everything. And she said it was terrible. She said, I threw the food, and on my way to the bed, he attacked me. So I explained to her that the dog was resource guarding the husband, because when I broke it all down, the husband was giving the dog a lot of unhealthy affection to the dog. I mean, just unearned, extremely unhealthy affection. And so the dog, to simplify, took advantage of that, right? So he started possessing the husband, and nobody was going to have him except for me, the dog. Okay. So her and I got done talking, and we went out onto the patio. And I said, you mentioned before that this dog has been to training. He said, yeah, when we lived in another state, the dog had gone to obedience training, pay thousands of dollars, And honestly, they did a horrible job from what I saw. And when I asked them about certain commands, certain things, oh no, we didn't do that. They didn't do that. So I said, we have to be fair to the dog. So I took the dog for a few minutes and I just started giving this dog literally a crash course in out, leave it, things like that, and I did it with Hot Dog. And the dog got it very, very quickly. So now I have my tools on a dog. I have my prong collar on a dog, a Hermspringer 2.25. And I go back and I said, okay, guys, here's what I want to do. And I looked at the wife and I said, you let me know if you're up to this. And I said, what I want to do is I want to recreate the night that you got bit. And she started crying again. I said, I need to see what's going on. But then I asked the husband, I said, is this dog allowed on any other piece of furniture in the home other than that chair that you had in the bedroom, which before I got there, they removed it. He said, no, he's not allowed on any other piece of furniture. I said, okay, good. So the wife agreed to it. And I said, I'm going to show me what happened that night. And so the husband goes to go get into the bed and the dog follows him. As soon as he goes into the bedroom, he pats the mattress for the dog to get up on the bed. And I said, what are you doing? You told me that this dog was not allowed on any other piece of furniture in this house. I said, did you lie to me? Yes or yes? I said, now let's move on. So I get the dog off the bed. I hook the dog up on a leash. And then I tell the wife, here's what I want you to do. She's walking down the hallway from the kitchen. And I said, I'm going to control the dog. I don't want you to worry. You are not going to get bit. And so I had her walk down the hall. And as she got to the threshold, I told her to tell the dog no. As she was getting close to that threshold, I could see the dog starting to load. So it was really good timing, okay? I was getting ready to correct the dog when she said no. So he got it from her and he got it from me at the same time. She walked through the bedroom into the bathroom and then back out. And I said, do it again. The second time, she said no so loud her voice cracked. But she's scared, right? And the dog did better. The third time, the dog started to load and come up off the floor. And I gave the dog a very, very firm correction. And he just slammed to the floor. And I said, I want to do it one more time. I dropped the leash and I walked across the room. And I said, now walk to that room and you tell that dog no. And as soon as she came and said no, that dog totally disengaged from her. I said, that's what I'm looking for. I said, now it's going to be the real test. I want you two to come to the middle of the room. And I told the husband, I said, I want you to give your wife some affection. Definitely, I want you to hug. You can kiss her if you want. I don't care, but I definitely want the hug to be involved. So they stood about 3 feet apart, and I've got the leash. And I'm going to be honest with you, I already had the hammer cocked because I already knew what he was going to do. And so I had slack in the leash, and they started getting closer, and I could already see the dog starting to load, but I let him go a little bit more. And as soon as the husband reached for his wife, that dog came up. And when he did, I gave him a correction with pretty much everything I had. And he was in one spot and he ended up in another spot. And he just went right back into a down. I said, hug her again. Now, we did it like 3 or 4 times, and the dog disengaged, which was great. Okay, but now I'm watching the emotions come out between the husband and wife. The husband really feeling bad because of what happened to his wife. And so they stood there and they hugged each other for a while. And they wiped the tears and everything. And then I said, let's go out into the kitchen and let's talk. And I told the husband, I said, I want you to back off of this dog. Back off. Stop giving this dog all this unearned affection. This dog needs to start looking at your wife differently. Now, the wife, while I'm standing there talking, the wife has the dog on leash and he's in a down right beside her. Fast forward about a week, I did a follow-up with them. And I talked to the wife and she says, I can't believe the difference. The dog walks in a beautiful heel beside me now. I'm showing leadership. I don't let the dog get his own way. All these things, that matter. And she says, it's been great. It's been great. So, of course, I was just so happy for him. And then several months went by and I did a follow-up on him again. And she says, it's beautiful. Everything in the home is beautiful. And so last year in 2024, I reached out to them again just to see how things were going. Do they even still have the dog? Has something else happened? And once again, she says, everything is great. It's just we couldn't ask for anything more. Now, there may be some people out there that may disagree with my approach to this situation. And quite frankly, I don't care. I really don't. Because I did what I felt I had to do to make a difference. Because this just wasn't the dog. This was teaching the wife, teaching the husband. But this wife has overcome, she'll never forget, but she has overcome being viciously attacked by her own dog. And so I told him before we started, I said, guys, this is what you can expect. Because I'm not here to soft pedal this. I mean, this is serious. And if I don't get through to this dog's probably going to die. Would I do it again the same way? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've done that with many dogs. So you can't take a dog like that in a situation like that and teach a dog that's resource guarding and gonna already attacked and going to attack again. You are not going to get rid of that by showing a dog a higher value reward like a piece of chicken or a piece of steak. That will not teach the dog that attacking mom is unacceptable. So, for those of you that are out there and you may struggle with your dog resource guarding, again, whether it's a toy, whether it's food, couch or anything like that. If you have a dog that's resource guarding, first of all, if you are allowing that dog on your furniture, get them off now. Because the time could come when husband or wife is sitting alone on the couch and the spouse comes to sit down beside, and next thing you know, the growl comes or possibly the bite comes. Or it could be the dog is laying on the couch because you've just allowed them to do that, and you come to sit on the couch with the dog, and the growl comes or the bite comes. Now the dog is possessing the couch. If you teach it early on, it's less likely that you'll have to fix it later. But people get these dogs and they just give it free rein and just let it claim the couch, claim the bed, claim whatever. And the dog starts exhibiting all these bad behaviors. Now they're like, what do I do? What do I do? And I'll see people all the time in these groups saying, my dog is guarding food and it's some of the most idiotic recommendations that I've ever seen. I mean, some people have no business giving advice. So just keep in mind, first of all, your safety is first, okay? So make sure you got a leash on the dog. If you're going to work with the dog, if you have a way to back tie the dog to an eye hook or something that's into a stud, something like that, so the dog can't lunge at you, safety first. But I recommend teaching the out. So if you have a dog at resource guards and you approach the dog, you've already put the work in long before you ever put the food down. But I teach the dog the out. So the dog will disengage, mentally and physically disengage, because let's say that this is a bowl of food, okay? And the dog is resource guarding the bowl of food. If I say out and the dog is still right here, you don't want to reach in, okay? You want the dog to mentally disengage and physically disengage from it. Now you can reach in and do it. And then now you can back that up with positive reinforcement. You did the right decision, right? But again, if the dog doesn't understand that behavior is unacceptable, how are they going to know that I shouldn't do this anymore? You know what I mean? So now, if I'm on a call where I'm doing a lesson or an evaluation, and this is literally a crash course, we have to address it. I don't have time to do hundreds of reps to teach the out command to where the dog is really going to get it. Maybe not hundreds of reps, but I think you get my picture. The dog has to learn, and it's through repetitions and repetitions. I don't have time for that in a certain situation. And so I have to go to corrections, because I am going to teach the dog what you're doing right there is unacceptable. And then once the dog gets it, I'll load the dog up all day long with positive reinforcement. So as one trainer would say, there's got to be the yin and the yang, okay? And there's that balance. So if you do have a dog that resource guards, be very, very, very careful, because you can get hurt really, really bad. Depends on how severe it is. If you don't know what you're doing, reach out to a really well-known, good reputation, balanced trainer. Not some purely positive knucklehead that is going to teach the dog that doing that behavior is acceptable. Get a good, balanced trainer. As I said in the beginning, I'll be uploading a podcast every week, so look for that. But here's what I want to talk about before I close. In the past, I have tried other products, and for just gut health, joint health, things like that. A lot of vets recommend Purina food. They recommend Dasequin joint supplements. I don't like either one of them. If your dog does good on it, then good for you. But 99.9% of the dogs that come to me for training that's on Purina, they have gut issues. Their stool is like soft serve from McDonald's, okay? And I'll talk to the owner and I'll say, trust me, will you give me an opportunity to, change some things up and see how the dog responds to it? And I've only had one client that said no. And that's another story. But the dog, not only did the dog's stool change color and stiffen up, but the dog came to life more. It was just better. And so don't always go by the name, right? Because it's not always the best. But I'll tell you what is the best. There's a company called New Vet Labs. I have partnered with them last year because of I believe in their product. And one of my shepherds, Nico, he couldn't hardly walk across the floor without scratching. And we had him on another chewable probiotic and for like a couple years. And it seemed like it helped a little bit, but then when I was talking to this company and I asked them, I said, do you guys have a probiotic? And they said, no, but we have a prebiotic. Now, listen, I'm not a scientist. I don't claim to know everything about these products, okay? What I do know is I started giving my male, my big boy Nico, I started giving him this New Vet Plus prebiotic. And he only scratches, he doesn't scratch any more than another dog does. Just like, like you and I, we get an itch, we scratch it. Nico also would not eat a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean like he might go a couple days and not even eat. And I could see him losing weight. Since I put him on this, again, the scratching is almost non-existent. When he gets his food, he eats every drop. It's just unbelievable. I mean, this has got so many vitamins. And here's the thing about all their products. It is see if I can say this right. It is they put the purest human grade ingredients into their products. Some of the other companies, they put fillers in there, even though it may have, let's say, more glucosamine in it, maybe than this does. But they've got fillers, they have dyes, they got these other things in their products. They do not. Okay, they do not. This is incredible for their coat, for their gut health, just everything. Okay, just everything. And if you have a young dog, say a puppy, 5 months old or whatever, or even younger, you can start this. Okay. Now, let me talk about the one that I love the most. If you own a large breed dog, it doesn't have to be a German Shepherd. Other large breed dogs get hip dysplasia and have joint issues. But we all know that German Shepherds are well known for having hip dysplasia. So this here is their joints, one of their joint supplements, the New Joint DS. It stands for double strength. Okay. And I know you in Radio Land, you can't see these things. That's why I'm also saying it out loud for you. But they have another one that is just New Joint Plus. They are smaller wafers, and it's a smaller dose. So if you have a dog that's, less than a year old, not a very big dog, you could give them that. That's fine. But I have 3 full-grown German Shepherds, and every one of them, and even our 6-pound Maltipoo, they get both of these together. With Maggie, our little Maltipoo, I take about 3 of these from each bottle, and I will cut them up into 4s, and she gets a little piece of the pie every morning. And guys, I'm going to tell you about the DS here, okay? My female Shepherd, Sage, she's a big runner, always has been. She was really favoring her back end, and she was, in my opinion, coming up lame. And I was really getting worried. And like I said, I had tried other products and nothing. And so I tried this product, and within 3 days, she started to show improvement. Even talked to my rep, they couldn't even believe it. And they know they got the best product out there. And in less than a month, she was back 100%, and she is still 100%. So my wife, she's like, I think all the dogs should have it. And I said, I agree. So all the dogs get the new joint, the new joint DS and the new Vet Plus. The difference between the way it's made is a lot of the products that are out there, they're heat processed. So if you think about when you boil your food, you might lose some of the nutrients because they boil out. Same way with the supplements, okay? Theirs is cold processed. I don't understand it all, but it makes it easier. They don't lose anything. It makes it easier for the dog to digest it and for the product to be effective. So I have had several of my clients, they trust me, and they have come back after being on, some of them didn't get on the new Vet Plus, but a lot of my clients are German Shepherd owners. They've gotten on this DS, and they've gotten back with me, and they said, I am so glad that I switched from Dasequin, from Cosequin to this product. One of my good friends has a dog, and I've known this dog really, I think, since he was a pup, and now I know he's over 10 years old. He was on Dasequin, and I had talked to him about the product and everything, and he said that he would look into it. Well, his dog Oscar could no longer jump up on the couch or onto the bed, even on Dasequin. So he got a hold of me, and he said, you really believe in that product? I said, it is the only product I will put my name, FlatTop K9, to. I will not put my name with any other product. That's how much I believe in it. So he said, okay. He calls me in about a week, and he says, Oscar won't let me put him on the couch anymore. And it didn't register with me. Like, what's he thought? I thought something happened, And I said, what? And he goes, he won't let me put him on the couch anymore. And I said, what's wrong? And he goes, within a week of him being on the new joint DS, he no longer needs me to pick him up to put him on the couch or the bed. He can jump up on his own now. He said it's like he's a young dog again. Guys, that is it, right? I mean, that is it. So if you just want good gut health, good coat, just overall, because a lot of times German Shepherds, they have sensitive stomachs. If you want help with that, the new Vet Plus is it. But if you have a dog a year old, even 8, 9, 10 months older or older, I recommend the New Joint DS. You can go to newvetplus.com and you can order. And also, if you order auto ship, you can save 15%. So this comes out to like 52 cents a day to know that your dog is getting the right nutrients that they need. I mean, let's face it, guys. Excuse me. How many people stop at a Quick Sack and get a soda? What's that cost you? But yet we won't make sure that our dogs have good joints and good guts and stuff like that. So again, the website is newvetplus.com. You cannot buy this off the shelf. Okay? That's how good it is, in my opinion. You just can't go to Costco or Sam's or anybody else or even a vet's office and just buy this. They believe in their product so much. They want people that believe in a product and push the product. Do I make something on this? Yeah, but honestly, I don't know what it is. I really don't. They told me in the beginning when I signed on with them, but I believe in it. That's why I want to promote the product. If you decide to order, you have to have an order code. So I want to give you this order code. It is 392826. Again, 392826. If you want to call and place an order, they have great customer service. It is 800-474-7044. 800-474-7044. Guys, that's all I have for you today. Again, if you have a dog as resource guarding, if you don't know what you're doing, please get some help, okay? What are we going to talk about next week? We're going to have some Q&A next week. Got a lot of Q&A, okay? So if you want to email me with a question about dog training, I'll do my best to answer it the way I would handle it. You can send it to FlatTop K9. That's FLATTOP, letter K, number 9, FlatTop K9 at gmail.com. If I answer your question, I'm just going to answer your question. I'm not going to have a dog up here, and give an hour lesson, free lesson over the internet. But I will give you an answer for your problem. So again, like, subscribe, share, tell everybody about it. Let's spread the news that there is another podcast out there in podcast land that can help you with your dog. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week.